Hi all, Sarthak this side on the Let's Talk Data Science podcast. I made this video as soon as I completed my MSc in Machine Learning and AI from IIT Bangalore and LJMU, powered by UpGrad. For those who are unfamiliar, this was a two-part, 18-month-long online-only program where the first 12 months were focused on getting a postgraduate diploma from IIT Bangalore and the remaining 6 months towards getting an MSc from LJMU. The objective of this video is to help data scientists, fellow enthusiasts, and learners with my perspective. This is one of the most common questions I get asked on LinkedIn. And through this video, I hope to share my experience with the program, address some commonly asked questions, and also to bust some myths along the way. Uh, to clarify some goals and non-goals of this video, the goal is to just share my experience. Learners are advised that this experience depends on your individual profile, which may in turn be a function of many things, such as your existing knowledge and skill sets going into the course, your prior work experience, your individual aspirations. Some people join the course mainly for an on paper degree, some for learning, some for a career switch, and so on and so forth. Your personal constraints like time, cost investment, uh, your individual family financial goals, your situational factors like COVID, that make the context widely different for someone who's looking to do an online program from purely working from home versus someone who is like commuting to office 5 or 6 days a week, right? Uh, as discussed, there are also some non goals. The experience is deeply shaped by personal factors, so it's almost impossible to find someone else with the same experience, right? So take all of this with a pinch of salt. And this video is only meant to provide a perspective and not to suggest, hint, or indicate a path that the listener should take. So, setting the context for myself, I joined workforce fresh out of college with a bachelor's degree in management. At that time, registering for the course, I had 3.5 years of experience, two of which were as a data analyst with a commercial aviation company, and 1.5 or so years with an information technology company. In both these roles, I had worked across a spectrum of data science problems, ranging from designing, deploying, monitoring ML solutions, building BI reporting pipelines. I had done tens of Coursera courses. Check out my LinkedIn profile towards ML, Python coding, math, statistics. My individual aspirations going into the course were as follows. One was to go get a more holistic, organized and regimented approach towards data science, right? I had been doing a lot of courses on an ad hoc basis. Second was to formalize my education. Since I had a business management degree, I really needed something that validates my on paper degree. uh, Before we jump into the review, I also want to introduce various aspects of my engagement with the course, right? The way I understood it, a learner would typically engage with four parties during this course. One was UpGrad, which facilitates these programs. They provide technical capabilities like the learning platform, tech support, examination services, etc., and non technical services like student support, placement services, career counseling, student mentorship, etc. Second was IIT Bangalore, which defined the first 12 months with the first part of my program. They provide the actual lecture content and are issuing authority of the postgraduate diploma certificate. Then comes LJMU, which defined the last 6 months of my program. They oversee the master's thesis and award the degree with the credits carried over from IIT Bangalore. Last but not the least are students from each cohort who interact with each other on the platform and informally, unfortunately not face to face because it's an online degree, but usually people would find ways to catch up over WhatsApp or other ways of communicating. Now, coming to the main part, I'll start with my PG diploma experience first. The introduction to the course was amazing. There are a huge number of students from diverse backgrounds, I guess, probably because the admission rate is so high. The initial few weeks are peppered with ample opportunities, optional modules, additional resources to bring everyone on the same page. Given my prior experience, I did not opt for, and hence I am unable to comment on their value. But as the course begins to pace, it can become slightly hard to cope up with the timelines. But one can kind of review all the content of a particular module as soon as it's released, so that you can pace up and advance and kind of make time later. The difficulty did not seem much to me, again, given my prior experience, but I did see learners with less relevant background struggle. The good thing, though, with the data science community is that almost everything is available online, so you can pursue additional resources and still catch up on your own. What's the value add of the course, you ask? It does provide a regimented approach to learning and practicing various data science concepts that one can just not curate on their own. It's really hard to focus on all the things in a very organized way. The grades are contingent on in-module quizzes, end-of-module projects. Think of creating like Jupyter notebooks to do EDA, ML, etc. Two or three proctored online live MCQ exams, and participation in module Q&A forums. I learned a lot from the quizzes and in preparation for the proctored live exams. The projects are fun to work on, but the scale at which those submissions are evaluated, sometimes the feedback may become a little hard, or may seem a little less relevant for someone trying to improve themselves. I did not participate much in Q&A forums because I did not think it will be a lot of value add for me. But since the participation therein is incentivized by means of grading, so the more active you are on their forums, the better your grades are. Mostly, you will find some learners asking like irrelevant questions, or people answering the same question number of times. There are also optional like coaching and mentorship sessions that you can sign up for, but I did not, so I can even not evaluate that as well. All things considered, my experience was thoroughly enriching, and I really benefited from having a regimented program. And I did see myself kind of bringing my learnings from the course to my actual day work. Moving on to the master's thesis with LGMU, the expectation was to write a full-fledged master's thesis with the learnings and expertise one had carried over from the PG diploma. The course seemed very open-ended, and kind of to start with a broader view of possible topics one could take up to write their thesis, and had detailed modules. They had detailed modules, optional live sessions, etc., to help learners gather as much context as possible before setting sail on writing their own thesis. Right. Each learner was assigned a thesis supervisor who would act as a sounding board, mentor, and, as the name suggests, like the supervisor for your thesis. Since the objective was more of learning by doing and the pace was more or less self directed, the learnings from the degree were deeply subjective to one's own pace, the depth of their research, etc. However, to help everyone kind of march at the same pace, there were three broad checkpoints. The first was the research proposal, where a learner would document the crux of their idea to get approval from the university before proceeding with their research. The second was the interim report, to provide an optional update on accomplishments the students had done thus far. And the final was a final thesis that had to be submitted in a video and PDF submission at the end of the course. Unlike the PGDM from IIT Bangalore, where the open ended grade submissions were a small fraction of overall marks, the thesis here was the one and only measure of one's progress in the program here. I did see students struggling with comprehending the feedback and being able to correlate it with the feedback that they've been getting from their supervisors, since the feedback came directly from the university. I did try getting more information from student support, etc., to get the exact grading methodology to be able to understand my grades better. But quite a bit of it was obfuscated during the normalization process, as I was told from the university. So, what I would really recommend anyone going for this program, though, is to uh, own up your own thesis, to work and find other sounding boards as well. So, think of friends, peers, acquaintances on platforms like LinkedIn to vet your thesis fully, to gather more perspective about your idea. Uh, Putting it all together, given my personal experience, I found the PGDM from Triple IT to be incredibly helpful, even though I had been professionally applying most of those concepts in my day to day work. And the work experience of doing the master's thesis kind of drove all of it home very nicely, even though I had, and I'd recommend others to find better ways of getting feedback about their research. But all in all, the research program was a good learning as well. I hope this helps, and anyone who's looking out for any more answers, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn. See ya.